What is up, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 2 of season 2 in this My Team Career mode. If you haven't been following along, make sure you go check out last episode. It was the first race of the season, and it did not go too well. Jack Doohan is having a disaster. How is he 8 seconds off the pace? He's just past Sonoda. Doohan, 8 seconds off the pace. This is back on lap 11. So he's on the tail of, I think, the Williams up ahead. I'm not sure who that is. Yeah, it is the Williams up ahead, and he just drops it. Okay, that's our teammate. Maybe we do need a new teammate. We can't have our teammate dropping it like that. I mean, he's in the race with the back markers, and now he's 8 seconds behind because he's dropped it. He was ahead of Nick DeVries. So yeah, that's Jack Doohan finishing dead last on the track, and that's made me honestly look at what drivers I could potentially get when we get to the mid-season mark, because, you know, you're looking at their price tag. It's going to be around 9, 10, 11, 12 million. So we've got to save up in advance for that. We can't get to that stage with 4 or 5 million. Otherwise, we're going to have to re-sign Jack Doohan again. And you can see right here, we are currently the 3rd worst team. We're closing on in that mid-pack. So if we're there, if we're right behind them, we need a driver that can push that car just over the edge and get us some points, because we can't be the only ones scoring points. It's going to be a lot of weight off our shoulders if we can get like a Pierre Gasly, an Esteban Ocon, a Yuki Tsunoda that we know can do the business when the car is there and can fight in the midfield. Whereas Jack Doohan, he's finishing last on track pretty much every race. I mean, there was one race last season where he put in a good performance. Other than that, it's been disastrous. And last year it was a 16 race season, so 15 races where he was pretty much non-existent is not good. And then he started this season the same way. But we're in Miami. We're going to focus on ourselves in Q1. And Miami, a track that I don't really like, particularly because of this section. Look at this, really twisty and tight. And it's just a disgusting part of the track to drive. No one likes that part. But yeah, it's not the greatest of laps. We're a 10th down on DeVries. You see Logan Sargent in that Haas as well is ahead of us. And our teammate, after talking trash about him, is 3.5 tenths quicker than us. And up in P19. And yeah, still nowhere near Q2. So nothing to celebrate about just yet. But he's P19, we're P20. So we have to find something on this final lap to put that car into the second round of qualifying. And it's got the capabilities, as we almost put it in the wall before we even start. And that's going to compromise the start of our lap. This car can make it into Q2. We just need a very good lap, because the first lap wasn't up to scratch. Is late on the brakes, far too late, missing the apex by a country mile, sliding again, and is disastrous, and we're gonna have to bail on the lap. And that is us, P22 for the 2nd week in a row. It's a terrible start. Good thing our race pace is there. P20 for Jack Doohan as well. So BamfordMB BW2 has had a nightmare of a start to the season. The only good thing is we can get the penalties out the way. But let's get in to Miami.
Welcome to the Magic City. We're here at the Miami International Autodrome, the home of the Hard Rock Stadium, a multi-purpose sports and entertainment hub which has hosted Super Bowls, Baseball World Series, numerous rock concerts, and of course, as of 2022, Formula One. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Russell, Gasly, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Stroll, Albon, Leclerc, Théo Pourchaire, Magnussen, Bottas, Tsunoda, Joe, DeVries, Doohan, Sargent, and the rookie. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
It's going to have to be a miraculous drive from us if we want to score points. Same with Jack Doohan, although we're not expecting that at all. If he could just get inside the top 20, I think we'll be happy. If he could stay there and not finish last on track, we'll be buzzing. We are going to start on the medium tyres. Something a little different this time. We usually start on the soft tyres to try and get a couple of moves going early doors. But we're going to start on the mediums, switch it up, try and stay with the pack, stay in that DRS. And we've decided this, particularly because of that really slow speed middle section. That's going to hold a lot of cars up, especially when they're in single file line. So I believe we can stay with them at the start on the medium tyres. So a bit of strategy going on here early doors. This is 5 red lights, and we are underway in Miami. Look at that. It's a decent start ahead of Logan Sargent. We're right in the tail of Jack Doohan. We're going to go around the outside, braking late, almost into the back of Nick De Vries, but we brake just in time, so no damage on the cars. We're side by side with our teammate. We get the advantage. Ahead we go, but he makes contact with us, trying to stick it on through. That is one way for us to rip up your contract, Jack Doohan. If he would have taken us out there, that would have been some talking point for the media, some talking point for us, but we both get through unscathed. I don't think there's damage on either car, so he got a little bit lucky there. That was very, very close to an incident on the opening lap between the pair of us. We got past him and he just couldn't take it. We're going to see it from Jack Doohan's angle as we're going to watch it again. So he's on the outside. He rides the curb and makes contact. That could have very easily spun both of us about. And that could have been pretty tragic indeed. So Jack Doohan really tested the limits when it comes to losing his contract as we make that move down the inside of De Vries, and we make contact with De Vries as well. Two cars don't go through there without making contact, but we get on through up into P19 on the medium tyre, and it's looking decent so far, finding our way through. If we would have qualified well, I feel like we could have put in a really strong performance this weekend, and instead we're fighting an uphill battle. We're going to try and break later down the inside of De Vries. We've got the inside line. That is ours. Thank you very much. And Jack Doohan behind actually follows us through, so he's moved up back into P20. Doohan, he's not going to finish last on track at this rate. Go on, son. But no, we've got decent pace on these mediums. We're able to keep with the trade up ahead, I think, because of this slow speed section. It's holding everybody up, and they're going single file, and we're able to just cruise back along and close back up. And especially with the DRS down those 2 or 3 straights, should we say, it allows us to stay with them as well. And our car is very strong down the straight. It's got that straight line speed. It's got that power to be able to stay with these cars and get the overtake done if we're in the slipstream. And look at this. We're closing on in on Guan Yu Zhou. We're going to go for it around the outside. See if we can get him down into the final corner. We brake late. We brake too late into the back of Bottas. We somehow keep it on the track. Bottas as well. He's not harmed by the incident. And we don't get any wing damage. We're on standard. We're on standard damage. I don't know how we've not got any wing damage from that. We hit him pretty hard from behind, but no wing damage, so no harm done. Although we could have certainly made that move on Guan Yu Zhou if we would have braked at a better point. But we are really testing the limits here, hitting the wall as well. And that's the thing about Miami. It's a street circuit. You're going to hit the wall if you're not careful. And in my case, you're going to hit other cars as well, as we've done it a couple times already. So we're going to try and go for the same move, but be a bit more cautious up ahead. And we don't hit the car up ahead, and we go around the outside of Guan Yu Zhou. That's a nice move. On the traction, we're good as well, because sometimes a little bit slippery out of that final corner, and it's easy to lose the car. But not on this occasion. We're doing well as we go for a move now on Hulkenberg. Bottas defends against Hulkenberg, which kind of helps us out, allows us to break that little bit later. And we're just picking off people one by one every lap, using that DRS, getting them in the braking zone, and we're picking them off as Max Verstappen is almost 5 seconds clear. I mean, I think he had a bit of a stinker in that first race, and now he is proving why he is, I think, the 2-time world champion in this series, because Leclerc won it last year as Leclerc's down in P12. So Max Verstappen really showing that he wants that championship back as he's winning by a country mile. And we're showing that we want to try and score points because we're up in a P16 and we're joining the train where P10 is leading. So we're there. We have a chance at potentially scoring points in Miami as we have the first people coming into the pits. Kevin Magnussen, Yuki Tsunoda into the pits as they're going to put on the medium or the hard tyre, whichever one they prefer. We're trying to go a little bit longer on these medium tyres. We want those softs to be absolutely electric towards the end of the Grand Prix. We want these guys on the hards, on the mediums, pitting early to fight each other a little bit and make sure they lose time. And we can, you know, come up behind really easily on these softs and then make those moves happen. Because in a car like ours, that's not the fastest. We need to make sure we have every advantage possible, and that includes tyre advantage. And we have to make this tyre advantage count as well, because these mediums will be working a lot better than those softs on Theo Porcher. He's at the bottom for 10 laps. The mediums working a little bit better. We're going to go down the inside, braking just that little bit later, saying that's my corner. We take it through the middle sector. We've got that position from Porcher, and that is huge because he was going to hold us up through this section, and instead we can get going. We're going to try and pit on lap 12. So lap 12 is when we are going to pit. We're going to get in the pits, get out on those soft tyres, and then we can cook. We're going to be so much faster than some of the people around us, at least hopefully. So we need a good pit stop, a good pit entry, and that is disastrous. 5-second time penalty for the pit entry, and that was my mistake. I didn't actually know where the pit entry was. I thought you had to go around a little bit before you slowed down, but no, the pit entry is right there. So that is good to know for the future, but that is a big mistake. It could be a costly mistake as we're dropping down the order down to P17, back behind Theo Porcher, but on those soft tyres. Now we have to create a 5-second gap to cars behind if we want to keep that position. So it's going to be very difficult, and looking at it, we probably weren't going to get points anyway. But we could have got a solid maybe P13, P12. And looking at this train up ahead, this is a train that is led by a driver in P13. So, or maybe a driver in P12. I think P13, P12, it doesn't matter. We're going down the inside of Theo Porcher anyway. And we're going to try and make these moves as quick and as clean as possible so that we can try and break that 5-second gap. We do have an objective as well from a sponsor to finish inside the top 12. So if we can get inside the top 12, that would be big for our race, and that'll get us some money, and that will kind of, you know, be a little bit of a consolation for failing to score points because you decide to speed into the pit lane. But oh well. We're going for a move now on Yuki Tsunoda. Look at that extra grip. So much better under traction. And we can send it down the inside. Those hards are just not going to work as well as these softs. And it's a little bit of a low tyre deg circuit. So these softs are able to work for quite a few laps. And that's good to know as well, because I've got a PSGL race this week in Miami. So this is a good little bit of practice as we go for the move on the Haas. And we almost get sent into the wall, and we're going to try and get him down into the braking zone. We could get two cars here down the middle. Look at this. Hello, Bamford has come alive down the middle up to P12. See you later, fellas. We're getting that sponsorship money. We got 4 laps to break that 5-second gap, and on these soft tires we should be able to do that. But as I was saying, Miami is the PSGL race this week. We missed it last week in Spain, but this week we'll be there for Miami, a track that I'm not very good at, as you can kind of see here. I've had a bit of a dodgy time in qualifying, and also don't know where the pit entry is, but I'm hoping to do a little bit better in PSGL and maybe score some points there. But look at this, we are closing in P11. We could have potentially scored points without that 5-second penalty. We'd be absolutely sending it on Gasly and Ocon if we didn't have that penalty, as Leclerc is scrapping away with Albon up ahead. Albon getting the advantage, and we're almost pushing these cars through because they're holding us up. You don't go side by side through here, lads. We want to make sure we keep that 5-second gap to Kevin Magnussen behind, and we might even want to go for a move on Pierre Gasly. It'll be nice to get a P10 on track just to show that we could do it, but I think Ocon is a bit too far ahead, but we're going to go for it on Pierre Gasly. That's a disgusting noise when you reach the limit, but around the outside, late on the brakes. See you later, fella, up in a P11, and it's going to be P12 after the penalty is applied as we stay far enough ahead of Kevin Magnussen. A little bit frustrating that we sped into the pit lane because it could have been so much more and potentially our first points of the season. But it's good to know the pace is there, and it was a good strategy call to start on the mediums and then go on the softs. Was a good strategy call because we've gone from P22 all the way up to P12, so I can't be too mad about it. The development race is well and truly underway, and we've got some more upgrades coming on in, which hopefully will be big upgrades and will help us fight for those points. But our teammate, Jack Doohan, he only beats 1 car, or 2 cars, Lando Norris, who retired, and Nico Hulkenberg, who had an engine problem. So again, in my eyes, he's finished last on track. I don't care that he's beaten Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg had an engine problem this race. So Jack Doohan, what are you doing, fella? You've got 3 more races at this team, and you are gone. you are gone. You can see we meet 2 of our sponsorship objectives. The other one that we didn't was qualify P15 or better, which, I mean, we know I'm not very good at qualifying, but we should be making it into Q2, I think, at this stage. And if we can, then that'll be huge for us. Next time out in Monaco, I really hope we make it into Q2 because it could be a long, long day. If not, starting from the back there would be absolutely tragic. You can see 0 points for 4 teams. Us, Haas, Alfa Romeo, and AlphaTauri. But we're going to try and kick on and score some points next time in the streets of Monte Carlo and get revenge after last year where we crashed. So make sure you guys go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!